Hey Aquarius. I keep doing that. I kind of like want to sit with my legs open, but I know that I can't because it won't look good for the video. Correct? Am I right? Am I wrong? Yes. Okay, so I'm actually going to be using the Lenormand deck for you guys today because I did the Urban Tarot deck and that video was very botched, but leave in the comment box, definitely check the description of this video because I'm going to leave the information there if you'd like to donate to my channel. And also, leave in the comment section if you'd like for me to post that video. I've been trying to edit it and cut it so that I can have the clips that actually did work. You know what I mean? Where there was no interference from the mic that I was using. The mic situation, oh my god, Aquarius, like, I could use the mic on my phone, I could use the mic that I'm using today, which is my headset, which does not, it's not very good, but, you know, I'm trying to speak louder because I'm a soft speaker. Anyway, and then the other microphone that I have that's actually the nicer one is the one that actually makes the noise and makes the interference. So, you know, and also when I'm at home, I don't really use a mic, I just let the mic, you know, on the phone or on the iPad do it for me. But I'm going to go ahead and lay this out in like 3 stacks for you and flip over those, and then I'm going to put it back together, shuffle it again, and then lay you out a 9-card tableau. And then we'll talk about that, okay? I was going to go live, but I wasn't sure what the quality of the sound was going to be like, so I'm just going to go ahead and post it. I'll try to keep it at a good length, okay? Alright. So Aquarius, you might be dealing with work, you might be feeling isolated in regards to your idea of work, or, you know, maybe even how you identify with your job. You know, you might be aware of like some goals that you are unable to achieve right now in the place that you are in, you know, and that's what this card is talking about, right? This is the Tower. So there could be a moment of, you know, escaping, which will be the Tower moment. You know, Mars is actually exalted in Capricorn, and this card is Saturn. So you're feeling restricted, right? And it's work that's making you feel restricted in terms of like it might be taking up your time, or you might be finding like there's not enough time to do the work that you would want to do if you like your job and you're in your job and you're doing it sort of willfully and wanting it. But those of you who are feeling like something is holding you back or keeping you stagnant, you kind of want to figure out, as these cards are coming by, zooming by fast, I feel like you kind of want to figure out like what it is that you are going to do. How can you make something happen? You know, this is almost kind of like a wishy kind of card, right? You're feeling wishy-washy about work perhaps, but then it's also kind of like you want something different. Yeah, because it's Capricorn, so, and it's Saturn, so it's almost like Saturn actually is teaching you something and giving you the lesson so that you can do what you haven't been doing that is different. You know what I mean? So it does want something different because it is cardinal, so it does want to initiate these changes that are based on, you know, practical ways of building, you know, security and wealth, and definitely authority, right? Because it's kind of like to master something is kind of becoming an authority of that thing, right? But it's going to take like building of learning, you know, that skill or whatever, so that you can, you know, you can perform well, right? And it is about execution, definitely. This is number 19. Also, it's number, it's 10, which is also a 1, you know what I mean? So we're also dealing with, you know, focus. We're dealing with, you know, longevity, right? Time. We're dealing with goals. Have you met your goals? You probably feel like you have met them and you don't feel like there's anything else that's going to challenge you in this place or where you are. And this is relative to what you originally got in your reading from the Urban Tarot. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like wanting to break free from the confines of some idea that has been ongoing. You know what I mean? And after Capricorn comes Aquarius. So we're hoping that, you know, you might get some of that energy. But you did get another Capricorn related card at 4 minutes and 44 seconds. You got paths, right? So this is Libra. But if you look underneath there, there's the goat, right, with the fishtail, which represents Saturn and Capricorn, and Saturn is exalted in Libra. And this is talking about initiating something, you know, with intention and with purpose, right? Because this 22 here is talking about choices and decisions that need to be made, you know. And then it's also, that reduces to a 4, which is talking about authority, which is talking about intention, which is talking about security, foundations, right, building things. So there's that. And then I feel like you are also trying to figure out what's fair to you in terms of making this decision. You know, it's almost like you're concerned about how all parties that are involved are going to fare once you make these choices or these decisions, or you communicate these things that you want based on, you know, some needs that you might have. Sorry, they're like hornets and wasps flying around. Needs that you might have that aren't being met. I'm kind of like afraid of them, but I'm letting my fear of their process get in the way of me achieving what I need to do, which is this reading. And it's kind of like they're doing what they naturally do. It's Virgo season. Hi, Mercury is exalting in Aquarius. Anyway, so let's move on to the next card, right? This is the dog, and this talks about, you know, a trusted friend or maybe a trusted relationship, right, with a work situation, because this is the trusted friend, this is the relationship and the choices that you make based on that relationship and what you've committed to, you know, business-wise, work-wise. This could be, you know, are you overbooking? Are you making plans to do something else while you've got something else going on? You know what I mean? And this is just so you can find a way out of this work situation. I feel like that's what it is that you're dealing with, you know? So now let me go ahead and flip these over, and we'll see if these cards come back out. I'm going to do a whole shuffling process and a cutting, and then I'm going to, oh, okay, so this is the awareness of something. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to leave it here, okay, as it is. That's Mercury right there, right? I just spoke about it, so we're going to leave it. I'm not going to reshuffle and cut it. I'm going to do it the way that I think that the cards are seeing. All right, this was it for you, honey. Definitely. Okay, let's see. So it's a tableau. Right. Okay, 9 cards. I'll try to put a picture up, I guess, of this at the beginning and maybe at the end of the video if it lets me. You know, I'm trying to like spruce up my technical items, right? Tools. Got a new tripod. Yeah, of course I'm not using it today because very Virgo. I have Mercury and Mars in Virgo. But of course I'm not using the tripod today because I left it at home because I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing this reading, you know, but I'm mutable kind of in that sense. So I'm doing it, and I have a lot of Sag. So here I am doing it. Okay. At the bottom of this deck, because we pulled the cards from the bottom of the Mystical Lenormand, not the top. Ooh, it's definitely for you. This is yours. You got stars, which is the Aquarius card. You may not see those water, that water glyph right there, symbol, but it's there. So this is talking about wishing, right? And I was talking about with that tower that came up, you know, wishing, wanting things, wishing for things, you know what I mean? And kind of like, just hoping to get out. It's almost like you're dreaming too. Because if this is you in the tower looking outwardly, right, you're kind of like looking off into what you feel like you're destined to become. But it's kind of like, it's very hopeful, right? And there's a lot of optimism there, which, you know, Uranus rules you as well as Saturn. It's like that. It's like Uranus is inside of the tower, right, ready to break out. But you know, or, you know, you're inside of the tower looking out into this Uranian world, but you inside of it being restricted is actually the Saturnian part of you, okay? So we're also looking at the center of the card, which is talking about Mercury, which is exalted in your sign, right? So you're fixed, right, Aquarius? So the reason why Mercury is so well aspected in your sign is because, you know, it sort of like helps you change things that you might need to change, you know what I mean, to improve things, because you're all about improvements, right? Definitely with that Uranus placement, but the Saturn part is talking about what has actually stood the test of time, what actually will not change, that really actually connects all of us, really, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And that is that's very special too, because you allow us to be who we are, but then you also challenge us to change what we can into what we can become, you know, that type of thing. And that's kind of very Uranus of you as well. But listen, with Mercury being exalted in Aquarius, it definitely gives you the impulsiveness and the impulsivity to actually move forward, to actually kind of like get things going, to come out of that energy that you've probably been stagnant in. But you definitely have had these moments, right, of wanting to break out of that tower, which you've been looking out into the abyss of, you know, wishes and hopes and dreams, and move forward, you know, with focus, with intention, because there's an idea that you have that you want to sort of like initiate, right? Because the ones are talking about initiations, Mercury is talking about your levels of consciousness, so it's kind of like you definitely being aware of this thing that you want and that you see and that you feel like you might even be moving towards, you know what I mean? Because this is talking about athleticism, and it's talking about feeling ready, you know what I mean? Because this person wouldn't go out on, you know, and, you know, do all this without being ready, you know what I mean? So I feel like you're ready, you know, and also you're dealing with something coming into form. You're almost headed somewhere. There's something that is like in a gestation period. It's kind of like, you know, when you sort of like germinate seeds before you actually plant them. It's almost kind of like that energy with this 3 being here. But then this is also saying travel, so there's movement, there's double movement here, you know what I mean? There's like travel here and there's travel here. So there might be like, you know, you could be thinking about moving to a different state, you could be thinking about moving to a different country, you could also just be thinking about moving towards, you know, something else that you have always wanted to do, that you've probably been intimidated by. You know what I mean? Because the 9s do talk about maybe feeling intimidated by something that is a goal, right? And this is very challenging, going off to sea like that. Excuse me. But, you know, I feel like you do want to kind of like just dive right in. You do want to allow yourself, again, we're looking out of that tower that we saw, you know, and this is what is also happening. You're seeing other people move on. You're seeing other things happen. You're seeing other things create. You're seeing time change, and you're still sort of like in this energy where you feel a little bit held back because there are other things that you would like to do, different things, you know. It might even be involved or related to what you have been doing, but you just want to see it in a different way. It's definitely all about branching out, you know what I mean? You might even be dealing with a Scorpio, you might be dealing with children, or you might just be dealing with somebody that is unwilling to change how they feel about something just because, you know, their level of maturity in terms of the commitment that you have or have had to them definitely had a condition that involved time, right? Because time is definitely conditional, right? Time conditions you. Right? Time definitely changes you. There's that Capricorn energy again. There's that Saturn energy again. There's that Mercury wanting to change things again. You know what I mean? Mercury is not necessarily, you know, dealing with time because it's so all over the place. So their time is not really a thing to Mercury. You know what I mean? Because it's like in an instant with Mercury. You know what I mean? You know, somebody might see your dreams or something as being small, or they might feel like, you know, you're just going to be taking a little bit more than you could chew, or they just feel like you making this change may not be the best thing for you because they don't want you to have to experience such an intimidation of newness, right? But it's like you definitely need to do it, and you feel like you owe it to yourself to do it. And then it's kind of like, you know, reminiscing about something. This could even be dreaming about the past, right? It's kind of like things that you enjoy doing. You know, it's talking about money too, and shared resources, and also being able to support yourself. You know what I mean? Because this child definitely is going to grow up and get older, and it's going to change the way that it feels about this situation that it's in right now. It's not going to feel like it wants to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Because then, you know, and it's a 5, so that's kind of like a fixed number of kind of like conflict, right? Because it's kind of like, I don't want to grow up, or somebody doesn't want you to grow up, or somebody doesn't want you to mature or move on, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like dealing with that, and this is 13, so it's a 4 again, so it's kind of like the intimidations of the security, or maybe insecurity, or moving on, or trying to do something else without me. That type of thing. That's what I'm getting from this. I mean, that's a Scorpio card right there, and then you have another one, but I'm not going to look at that yet, right? Because Scorpio and Taurus kind of deal with shared resources, right? And things that we share together that help us secure our reality, right? And help us maintain our reality. So this is kind of like you not wanting to maintain the same reality. You want to improve your reality, right? And it's kind of like upgrading that too as well. Because here at the foundation, right, which is what's supporting this whole spread, you have there's a dog barking because he sees a skateboarder walking by. I think it's so cute. But you got the fish, so this is talking about a businessman, right? Or it could even be money and finances improving, right? This is kind of like abundance, so you might even just be questioning whether or not you have enough, or whether or not you have enough to save or store away, you know what I mean? So you're thinking about this, you're thinking about moving forward, you're thinking about how money is actually going to help you with your confidence, and you kind of are like, you know, maybe you've saved up money for this change, you know, maybe you've been preparing for it. This also talks about, you know, being mentally sensitive to your own thoughts, and it also is talking about, you know, an understanding of what it's going to take to move forward. You know, you might even be dealing with a Pisces there, definitely, because this card is so Pisces. But with Pisces, it's just talking about emotional sensitivities, right? And what you might be subjecting yourself to, what you might be submitting to. It's also talking about the flow of things. It's kind of like you're thinking about the natural flow of things, and things naturally move forward, just like childhood does, right? Just like we do whenever we have an idea or something needs to change. You know what I mean? And water definitely flows and cleanses us. So you're going through a cleansing mode, but it's not like of anything toxic. Probably it could be, but it's kind of like maybe there was an idea of the way that things have been that needed to change for you. I don't know. You know, you're definitely aware of this. I feel like there's like a level of focus that you're definitely attuned to, right? Because this is kind of like focus. It's kind of like goals, right? And then it's also kind of talking about, you know, your vitality and the spirit of you, and, you know, your creativity, what you can do. You know what I mean? So I think that you feel like you can do a lot with this change that you'd like to see. At the bottom of it, it's really good, you know, because you got like the fish, which is a very nice card. That's a really great card. It's one of the best cards to get. And then this is also one of the best cards to get here. And then this is also a going to. This is engagement, right? But then it's also Taurus. So it's talking about, you know, committing to something that you might share with someone else. You know, so this could also be a business partnership that you might be planning with someone else. It could be a gig or an opportunity to produce something, or to make something, or to sell something like that, right? Because the fish are definitely talking about the ability to create something, okay? And then also, you know, benefit from that creative source, right? And this is a creative source as well, okay? And this is it proving to bring something into substance, right? Because of that. This is something that you've been wanting to do for a while, that you've been kind of like dreaming of. This is also art. This is, you know, this is the ring. So there could be like an offering that somebody might be giving to you, or there might, this could be an offering that you feel like, you know, is going to help you feel a little bit better about your situation. You know what I mean? It's greener pastures for sure. It's going to feel like it's a more comfortable situation. It might be a situation where you feel like you might be able to trust a little bit more of the situation, you know, the comfort levels, right? It won't feel so, you know, like you might be giving up some aspect of yourself that you feel like you should recognize or appreciate, you know? Okay. Also, you got the snake here. So this is talking about maybe somebody that might be Maybe an enemy of yours or somebody that just doesn't see eye to eye with you or agree with you. You know, it has to probably do with jealousy, or it might even have to do with something that you share. You know, that this person does not want to share with anyone else, or they may not want to share you with anyone else, right? Because, you know, that feeling of possession from Scorpio, okay, and control, right? And then it's also shared resources. So as if they see you as a resource for them, they may not feel so great about you offering those services or offering that skill set or offering any of your crafts to anyone else that isn't them, because they feel like they might be losing something, right? Because Scorpio definitely doesn't want to lose anything. That energy, right, is talking about weakness and power, right? Because sometimes when you are aware of your weaknesses, right, you feel some kind of way. And the moon is debilitated. It's in its fallen Scorpio, and these two cards are right next to each other. So this is just kind of like something that somebody might be feeling uncomfortable with, that they just kind of like need to, you know, push past whatever fears they might be having. Sorry, there's like a caterpillar on my bag. Push past some kind of fears they might be having to let go, right? Because there is a transition. There's something that's moving. There's something that's fluid. You know what I mean? There's some fixed cards here. You've got Aquarius here. You've got Taurus here. You've got Scorpio here. You definitely have Sag, right? And there's some other ones, you know, Leo, Cancer, and Gemini. Maybe even Pisces. So it might be a bunch of different people, you know. It could be a group of people. There could be some jealousy within a group of people, in a company, you know, ideas. There could be, you know, for power struggles, you know, it could just definitely have to do with like who is more, who is an ideal person, you know, whatever. But this energy of Scorpio definitely talks about, you know, ideals, right? And what would be the ideal situation for me right now in this moment that I feel like it's going to make me feel justified in my feelings, right? I just kind of like said that same thing twice. But that definitely is what I'm getting from this. But the moon is involved, and that's talking about friends, right? That's talking about a gestation period, a creation period, a period of things starting to come into form, definitely, because the Cancer rules the moon, and the moon is at home in Cancer, and that's the 4th house of home and family. So, you know, and that's your environments that you feel comfortable and that you feel good with, that you can express yourself in positive ways, but you can also express yourself when you don't feel so great. You know what I mean? It should be one of those things. But, you know, it's a negative polarity because it's water, and then it's a feminine aspect. So then it's kind of like you have to be a little bit more careful with this energy of the Scorpio person, right? Because they're going to see it as being conflict, but you have to... Now the caterpillar is on my cards. It's so crazy that it went from there to here, and it's on the moon right now. So, you know, this person could just be trying to like figure things out emotionally, like how, you know, this is going to change things for them, you know, because it's a shift that you might be wanting to initiate, and people feel shifts, you know what I mean? We definitely feel shifts, you know, or even if we don't know that there's like something happening that is like, you know, an energetic shift or anything like that. But, you know, this Cancer energy, the moon energy next to the Scorpio energy, the moon was in Scorpio like a couple of days ago, maybe like Monday and Tuesday or something like that, because it was in Libra over the weekend. You know, this could also have to do with ego, and it could also have to do with pride, right? Because the moon definitely is like our emotional ego, right? It's the 4th house, and the 4 is related to, you know, that feeling of stability from like the emperor. So, you know, being at that it's the 4th house, it is how your instinct, your emotional instinct. So this person's emotional instinct might just kind of be getting in the way of them seeing how this is going to help benefit you in your career, right? Because next to the moon card, I'm like, where's that caterpillar? It's like literally trying to get to me. Next to the moon card, you have the clover, and this is a really good card of luck, right, and fortune. It's Sagittarius energy, and Jupiter is actually in Sag right now, and it just started to go direct a few weeks ago. So we're dealing with that, you know, we're dealing with luck, and we're dealing with expansion, and we're definitely dealing with growth. You know what I mean? Maybe some of you have seen a ladybug recently. It's still summer. You can see them. I've seen them. Maybe you picked up a 4-leaf clover. Maybe you're starting to see some level of growth, or maybe your philosophies are changing about what it is that you felt like you wanted to do, or where you wanted to go, or where you saw yourself, you know, really developing more into. You know what I mean? The sun is here, right? Like I said, there's some ego and some pride issues with some people, right? In terms of like, you know, letting go, perhaps, or moving on, or allowing you to be this different facet of yourself, right? Because Aquarius is actually ruled by Uranus, and that's talking about radical change. Uranus is in Taurus right now, and it's retrograde, and that's squaring you. Okay, so there could be some tensions there with Taurus, or with an institution, or with a business, right? Or maybe with work. And then also, we just had a full moon in Aquarius, right? So here we go. You might have definitely felt that. And there might have been some developments that, you know, just really highlighted that. Because you do have the moon here, and you do have the sun. And that's opposition, right? That's opposing energy. And we don't have anything in Scorpio right now, except for the moon was just there. And what do we have in Leo? Nothing. We just had our Mercury retrograde in Cancer, Leo, right? So there were some things there, probably some communication that needed to be cleared up, right? So that you could see yourself getting closer to moving forward and moving on to this new reality, right? Because this Taurus card is talking about reality, right? Substantial things. And so is this one as well, you know, and this one, right? And so is this one. Reality is based on where you see yourself going, right? I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that, because it was really the Urban Tarot reading that I did, that was here, you know, or that I did in Central Park the other day. I'm trying to see where that caterpillar went. It was definitely related to career-oriented things, right? And competition for sure, and ideas of changing and moving on, and also kind of like, you know, control. It also had some things to do with, you know, maybe not even feeling like you're getting anywhere in the same place that you're in, you know, wanting to move, maybe wanting to change places that you live, that type of thing. I'm just going to leave it, yeah. So this is your reading for September, Aquarius. I feel like you're definitely going to move on. Let me pull one more card for you, and I'll pull a playing card. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what playing card I get. These are weird because I don't really use them that much. Okay. I'm hoping that one like will fall out so that you can just have one given to you and I don't have to choose one. I'm gonna shuffle it one more time. And if not, I'll just pull one from the top. Alright, so I'm gonna cut it and then just take one from the top and give you what that one is. Okay, so this is the Two of Clubs. So this is talking about, you know, domination, right? Or dominion, right? Somebody might be dominating, their energy might be dominating over you, or them having power over you might be affecting your ability to make choices for yourself. You know what I mean? Because the Two of Clubs is Mars in Aries, and Mars is at home in Aries, and it's talking about moving forward. You know what I mean? It's talking about making those plans, right? Coming up with some solutions, or it's almost kind of like through your actions, you will see yourself getting closer to the reality that you want to have set in place for you. And that's what I was talking about earlier when I was looking at like that Capricorn energy or whatnot, and the Mercury and all of that stuff. But, you know, this is definitely talking about action. It's talking about, you know, curiosity, definitely. It's talking about, you know, destruction with the Mars there. It's talking about tension, and it's also talking about, you know, feeling passionately about something that you would like to express, right? Verbally, okay? And then it's also kind of like you've dealt with this, right? Because it's a 2, so it's saying that there is something to be revealed through your actions. So you just have to like communicate something, you have to do something, you have to show something, or you kind of have to like take someone out of their emotional complacency by showing them what it is that you are planning to do anyway. You see what I mean, Aquarius? So that definitely is what this 2 of Clubs is talking about. And it's talking about sharing too, perhaps. So you could be like, you could be moving in with someone, right? Because the 2nd house is Taurus, and that's talking about, you know, comfort levels, and it's also talking about, you know, environment, right? So, yeah, there could be 2 opposing energies in one environment, like 2 people are butting heads as well, you know, and you kind of like felt like this was coming on anyway. Yes, I'm going to leave the reading at that. Thank you, Aquarius. If you would like to get a private reading with me, email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. You can follow Providence Tarot on Instagram, and you can also follow Providence Tarot on YouTube. Okay? Aquarius, I hope that the audio for this video is good, and let me know if you are going to be into seeing that first video that I recorded. That is actually pretty good audio until it gets interfered by the static from the mic. So maybe I could timestamp it for you guys so that you can fast forward through it to those moments, because I've been trying to edit the video and somehow it's just not letting me do it. So yeah, let me know. I'll see you guys later.